This is an A.J.Dugger exclusive.
It is. Hey, I'm your host. This is the Award-Winning Journalist A.J. Dugger here with comedian J. Lamarr. What's your full name? You got two different names on your...
My full name is a.j. Matheny, Sr. Just a little history. a.j., my mother named me after her girlfriend. Just a little bit of insight there.
After her girlfriend? I didn't
After her girlfriend. Yeah, nobody expects to hear that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. The truth hurts or becomes comedy. One of the two.
Ah, it became comedy.
It became comedy. That's what it became.
Okay. So,
I shortened it up to J. Lamarr because I didn't want them messing up my name.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you on that. Okay, now where you from?
I'm originally from Gary, Indiana. I live in Clarksville, Tennessee. I was in the military, so that's how I got to Clarksville. But originally from Gary, Indiana, home of Michael Jackson.
Okay. Did you ever, I mean, I know they don't go back there much. Have you ever seen Papa Joe, Catherine, they ever visit? You
know, when I was there, Michael Jackson came back one time. He went to a KFC. All of us skipped school to go to see Michael Jackson at KFC. And he went back to his, I think he went to Roosevelt, he went to Roosevelt High School. And I didn't get to see him, but we all skipped school, so, whether I seen him or not, I laid eyes on the vehicle. I'll say that.
That's what's up, man. By the way, don't forget to plug my book. My mom's on the same record label as Michael Jackson back in the day. Read about it in my book, The Deal Is Then and Now. Okay. All right, it's all about you. Now, all right, so when did you know you wanted to be a comedian?
I know to be a comedian, man, it was in the early 90s when Martin Lawrence was out. He had the Martin Show. It's crazy. I used to run around and pretend to be Shanae.
Okay.
Right? It was funny. I used to run around and be Shanae and tell jokes all the time. But, us being from the hood, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you got comedians and run around everywhere you go. It's either drug dealers or, that's pretty much it. So I didn't actually get into it, back then. But that's when I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
So you just kind of had a knack for making people laugh.
That's all I did was make people laugh. When my mother used to whoop me, I used to say jokes and run around and make noises so she would laugh, so she wouldn't, keep whooping me. So she'd end up stopping and throwing the belt down. So that's what I did. I used to make her laugh all the time.
Man, why didn't I think of that when I was getting whoopings, man?
Yeah, when she laughed, she'd drop the belt and that was it. And I knew the whoop was over. But if she didn't laugh, I knew that joke wasn't funny enough.
Man, now, okay, describe your style. Like, I know I see you tweet a lot, humor of an odd black guy. Now, what does that mean, and what's your style like?
My style, I have odd humor. Humor of an odd black guy is basically, like, if you hear some of my stories, it's not normal. For example, like, what other male is named after his mother's girlfriend? Right? It's rare. If it's rare or non-existent. Yeah. Just everything, a lot of stuff about me is weird. Like, my mother's gay. I married my mother's girlfriend's sister. Right? So, it's just, all of my humor is funny, but it's odd. It's not what you're expecting to hear. So, that always sets them up. And, humor by a black guy, I created that, like, even before I started doing comedy. I knew that it was nothing normal about me. So let me show you how funny my oddness is. Even if it was painful things, hurtful things, it was still funny to somebody else. So.
Okay. This is a question that just came to me. I saw you, saw some pictures of you in Nashville. You were in a big-ass banana costume. What was going on there? Because there's no caption that could work with that picture and make it sound sane. What were you doing?
We was actually doing improv. Rick Roberts improv class at Zany's. Throw that out there. That's what I was doing. And we was going up making different scenes. And I seen a banana suit. And I was thinking, like, it's nothing funnier than, like, a black banana. Right? So I put the banana suit on. And I wish that I can tell you. I wish we would have recorded, but it was hilarious. It was fun. That's what I was doing in the suit. We was doing improv. And I was making jokes about being a banana, basically. So it was fun. Improv is fun. Being a banana is fun. Most people don't get a chance to be a banana, but it was hilarious. I enjoyed it.
That's what's up, man. I was like, how is he gonna talk his way out of this one?
Yeah, I was like, well, the rest of the people from Fruit of the Loom, the other fruit, they just left me, so here I am.
Now, who are your influences coming up? You mentioned Martin with Shanae. Oh my goodness.
It was Martin Lawrence, Chris Tucker. I just love to watch comedy movies, so that was the biggest influence. And then as I got older, I started seeing other comedians come out, especially Kevin Hart, because I got married early. Okay, I had kids like while I was in high school, and when I heard his comedy, and I heard other people's comedy about their family, it kind of made me laugh because when my kids would run around and just think of things like, what other guy got like 2 kids in high school, okay, and still graduates. Okay, well, that's a story right there, right? Yeah. So Kevin Hart, bringing the whole family into it is that's one of my biggest influence right now, is the fact that my kids help other people realize that, my son does that too. And I take it to a funny way. Like, I'm not going to tell all my jokes, but, that's it right there.
That's deep, man. Yeah, I'm actually something even deeper here. Now, I was talking to DJ Pryor about this, mutual friend of both of us, great comedian. When the lights go down, like you do a show and you got everybody laughing, you're hyped up, then the lights go down, you drive home, and then what? Like, is it depressing, or do you still have that high?
Most comedians have a dark place they go to. Like, one example is like what made me start to be and do comedy. It was a dark place that I was in that made me do comedy. So most of us use humor to get away from everything else, so nobody else will see our pain. But preparing for the show, it's fun and exciting. After the show's over, right, it's like it's back to just being you. So it's like kind of, calming down from it and then realizing that this is reality. So at times it get depressing, but most times it's kind of, you're just like, oh, well, this is it. Like, you don't want to even leave the club because, once you leave the club, your time to shine is done. So it's kind of, it's mixed feelings. I ain't going to say it's depressing, but it's very mixed feelings.
I imagine it's like a tough transition to make,
It is, going from that guy that everybody's like, oh, after the show, do you really not have eyebrows? Let me see, right? Yeah. And then to you just driving home to a city where nobody even knows your name, It's one of those things. So
you mentioned your eyebrows. I meant to ask you too. What people joke about that? Did you?
I'll be honest with you, right? This is how I found out I didn't have any eyebrows. I was catching the bus to school, and I needed an ID. But I didn't have a picture. So the picture I took in was me when I was 3 years old. So I had a baby picture in 6th grade as my ID. And the boy looked at it, he was like, you ain't got no eyebrows. I looked, I was like, I ain't got no eyebrows. Right? And it was funny. But then all of a sudden, people start calling me names. They call me every animal that didn't have eyebrows. Okay? They call me every animal that didn't have eyebrows. They call me Kermit the Frog. Right? They call me a Ninja Turtle. Right? They called me everything that didn't have eyebrows. Wow. So I was like, you know what? When I did my first joke, I was like, okay, I need a joke, and the rule is something that everybody can see. I was like, well, I ain't got no eyebrows, but I realized that like most people don't see it, right? So my opening joke for that is me pretending to be The Rock. For those of you who know The Rock is, y'all know he's known for the people's eyebrow, and it's kind of hard to be him when you don't have any eyebrows. So. Right. That's where that came from. That's where that came from. It's every now and then, somebody pointed out. They don't point it out like in spots. It's a crowd full of people. We all talking, serious conversation, and then they're like, "Hey, what happened to your eyebrows?" Right, and that's normally how it goes. That's how people figure out I ain't got no eyebrows.
Ah, man. Let me ask you this too. I just wasn't written down, but man, you're a relatively new comedian. Is it harder when you first starting out?
It is ridiculously hard. Ridiculously hard. The reason why is because nobody knows who you are. They don't even know if you're funny. And early in the beginning, you don't even know if you're funny, right? So when I first started, it's like, well, am I funny as I think I am? Okay, it's easy to get, your friends and family to laugh, the people at work to laugh, but standing up in front of a bunch of people who really don't care about you, they're not gonna laugh just so your feelings won't be hurt. And you get up there, you get your first laugh, and the other comedians, some comedians want to help you get bigger. Some comedians are like, you got to go through the same struggles I did. So it's hard. It is hard. I'm not even a year in yet, but a lot of experiences and opportunities that I get is from people who's willing to teach. Like, a lot of people don't get the opportunity, but going around asking people can you perform, and I'm like, hey, who'd you perform with? You're like, oh, well, nobody you know. So it's ridiculously hard. It's endurance is it. If you don't have endurance, you won't make it.
That's crazy. Let me ask you about, okay, now what's some common techniques? Can you teach me something about being what's something that, I'm not trying to be a comedian, but what's something that, you could show me, like a joke presentation or...
All right, joke presentation is, one of the things is, when you say a joke, you want it to be relatable to everybody. Even if it's not about them, you want it to be relatable to everybody, and you always want to make fun of yourself first. Reason why is because you don't want to go to a comedy club and the first joke you come off is talking about the guy in the front row, because then you just look like you're being mean. So you want to make a joke about yourself first. And one of the things is that, you come out and it's kind of like, have you ever noticed that people look weird, right? Take me for example, right? When you look at me, what don't you see? Right? It's not really obvious, but I don't have any eyebrows, right? And then, you do the people's eyebrow. For you, for example, like, what's odd about you that you're like, the first thing anybody ever noticed? That's the first thing you want to talk about. What's the first thing they notice? Like, for me, it's always eyebrows. So when I come out, I'm like, hey, I don't know if y'all can see where you're sitting at, but I don't have any eyebrows. All right, so you want to talk about yourself first. It eases the crowd up. Then you can talk about somebody else. That's one rule. So if you ever got something to say to somebody, you want to say it to them, talk about yourself first. That way, when you talk about them, they're kind of like, oh, okay, all right.
That's a nice comic secret there.
Yeah, so if you talk about yourself, you ease up. So if I start talking about you, you're like, oh.
You got
it. Ain't like I walk through the door and I'm like, hey, what's up with that? And you're like, first of all, I don't even know you like that for you to be. So that's one of the biggest ones.
That's good.
If you can't make fun of yourself, you might as well quit. Because somebody's gonna talk about you. But if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't make nobody else laugh.
That's brilliant, man. That's interesting. Now, what can we expect from you in the future? You got anything lined up?
I got shows lined up. Check me out. www.facebook.com/J Lamarr. J Lamarr Humor. Let me correct that. J Lamarr Humor. I actually got a show coming up. I got some shows in Greenbrier. I do most of my shows in Nashville. I go to Evansville a lot, so that's what's coming up, in the near future. But other stuff, I got plans for other things. It's not just set in stone yet.
Okay. And is there anything else that you want to say about yourself that I haven't asked you about?
One thing is make sure I got a YouTube page, Humor of an Odd Black Guy. Make sure you like my Facebook page, J Lamarr Humor, and I got a Twitter for those of you the few of us that use Twitter. J Lamarr Humor. Just be on the lookout. If you know anybody who need a good comic, just let me know. That's it.
Awesome, man. Great talking to you.
All right,
appreciate it.
This is an A.J. Dugger exclusive.